Erika KIRK'S has decided to use her charms and wit to fully capitalize on her husband's death. And when I talk about fully capitalizing, I am talking about capital. Yes, she's gone full grifter, and it just goes to show that MAGA, in all of its glory, can't possibly let a tragedy go without somehow trying to make a quick, cheap buck off of it. My name is Scott Schneider. This is Fed Up in Minnesota.
Presently sending a final update to the onboard computers for antenna management. And we have a go for auto sequence starts. And we have auto sequence starts. 4, 3, 2, 1.
So my spouse dies in a horrific, violent murder. And the whole world seems to be crashing down on me. And I go out and I put out a video where I'm talking about his legacy. And what's the first thing that I'm going to do? Am I going to go ahead and take my time to mourn his death? Or am I going to go ahead and go raising money on his behalf, on my behalf, with regard to his death? What seems like the more reasonable thing to do if you are a normal human being who is going through some kind of hell like that? Well, duh, not now, because this is Erika KIRK'S, and this is not a normal situation for a normal human being. This woman immediately starts making more money for herself and Turning Point USA. Daily Beast, September 15th. Charlie Kirk's widow's plea and mega fundraising cash drive. After vowing that her husband's mission will continue, the widow of Charlie Kirk has made a major fundraising push following the right-wing political activist assassination. I still call it a murder, not an assassination. It comes as the reverberations to the shocking fatal shooting of the 31-year-old pro-MAGA firebrand on September 10th continue throughout the U.S. and around the world. Some American leaders, both Republicans and Democrats, have called for unity and an end to the political violence in the wake of his tragic death in Utah last week. Others have used the assassination as a rallying cry. On Sunday alone, a blitz of fundraising texts went out under Erika KIRK'S name for both an organization co-founded by Kirk, Turning Point USA, which organizes and trains young conservatives, as well as its political advocacy arm, Turning Point Action. This advertisement on X, where else would it possibly show up, then apparently turns into a fundraising page of her press conference from the other day that I have already played a video refuting and showing the horrible contrast between what she says about her supposedly loving husband and the bullshit that he put out and the hateful things that he did and said in his life. The video appeared on the webpage under the line, "The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry." It also included a brief note in her name. The fundraising page note also stated, "If you refuse to let Charlie's vision die, join me in making Turning Point USA the biggest thing this nation has ever seen." And it's signed by Erika KIRK'S with an image of the couple together. Donors can opt to give any amount, but the suggestions range from $25 to $100,000 with a one-time option or as a monthly donation. That fundraising text linked to a similar donation page as the other one, with the same note and video from Erika KIRK'S, but it was for Turning Point USA rather than Turning Point Action. A third text just hours later used identical messaging as the earlier one, but it also linked to the Turning Point USA version of the fundraising page. Apart from the fundraising efforts, interest in the organization Turning Point USA has also flooded in following KIRK'S death. According to the organization, Turning Point USA received more than 32,000 inquiries about starting new campus chapters in just 48 hours. So more scumbags are going to go out there and start white supremacy nonsense. The organization currently has around 3,500 high school and official college chapters, spreading lies and bullshit everywhere, showing just how massive the surge in interest have been in response to this tragic death. It all comes as Kirk supporters have held a series of memorials to remember the late activist, jerk-off, jackass, piece of crap, and father of 2 children. Mourners have held a series of candlelight vigils and prayer groups across the U.S. Yes, remembering how their mega bullshit continues to resound and destroy the universe. On Sunday, close allies and supporters held a prayer vigil at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. to remember Kirk. It was attended by members of the Trump administration, including HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Nutjob Jr. and White House Press Secretary Caroline Propagandist Leavitt. Vice President J.D. Vance, who traveled with Kirk's casket from Utah back to Arizona last Thursday, will host the Charlie Cook Show on Monday and pay tribute to his friend. Fuck off, you bunch of assholes. And the grifting doesn't stop there. All these little white supremacist pieces of crap all around the country to this useless piece of crap, so-called worthless human being who spewed hatred and nonsense his entire life. This story by Manny DeHurry in Newsweek. Over $6 billion have poured into honor conservative activist Charlie Kirk and support his family after the 31-year-old was assassinated in Utah on Wednesday. I wish he'd stop using the word assassinated. He was not a political he was not involved in any political campaign, was not an elected politician at all. He was just a person who got a platform and made millions of dollars off of spewing garbage and hatred. The news and videos of Kirk's murder swept quickly through the country, and with people immediately mourning his death and leaders and prominent figures across the political spectrum condemning the violence. Vice President J.D. Vance escorted Kirk's casket on Air Force 2 while president. We know all this stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Kirk was co-founder and executive director of Turning Point USA, a prominent conservative campus organization. He was a frequent political commentator, often speaking on college campuses and hosting media programs and conferences, as well as a close ally to Donald Trump. Yeah, not to mention all the bullshit that he spewed. The shooting comes amid a broader climate of political violence across the United States. In June, Minnesota Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot and killed in their home in a targeted political act by a right-wing whack-job activist, gun-toting piece of crap, just in Charlie Kirk's total likeness. Kirk is survived by his wife Erika and 2 children, and several online fundraisers have launched to support them and honor their legacy. A fundraiser started by the ALP, a nicotine pouch brand owned by Tucker Carlson. Oh, of course, his tobacco chaw. Tucker Carlson Network and Turning Point Brands has soared in recent days. Of course it has, all the chowers in Magaville. Carlson, a former Fox News host and prominent conservative commentator, has repeatedly expressed his heartbreak over Kirk's death, and ALP has contributed $1 million to the fundraiser. As of Sunday morning, the ALP's Send It Go has raised over $650,000 and has a goal of $6 million. If anybody doesn't know, Give, Send, Go is simply a mega Christian fundraising site for people who get into political and social trouble because they do horrible mega things. Another online fundraiser shared on Turning Point Action's website, identified as the official support page, has raised over $1,250,000 as of Sunday. And one started by Glenn Beck's 912 Project has raised over $500,000. Fucking hypocrite. Smaller fundraisers across GoFundMe have collected tens of thousands of dollars, with one raising over $60,800. Cumulatively, fundraisers have raised over $6 million as of Sunday morning. Kirk's widow Erika has pledged to continue her late husband's political efforts, saying Friday, "The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let it happen." Well, he didn't want you participating in politics anyway, so why are you out there? If you want to really carry on his memory, why don't you just go back to your raising your kids and just sit there and live off the millions of dollars you have sitting in your mansion? Because Charlie Kirk didn't think that you were capable of doing anything, because you're a woman. You should have sat there and just remarried another mega jackoff and had more kids. All of this, of course, as I'm sitting here, a disabled American who makes $1,500 a month, barely getting by, barely able to afford a house cleaner, barely able to afford the equipment to make these videos, barely able to afford being able to do any promotion at all to get my name out there. And these useless fuckers are getting millions and millions of dollars poured in after they've been spewing hatred and getting worshipped by a bunch of brainless twits who don't give a crap about anybody who is poor or suffering. Just this piece of junk. I'll show you exactly how bad it is. Yahoo Finance. What was Charlie Kirk's net worth after growing? Turning point. September 11th, 2025. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk, 31, who was shot and killed Wednesday while hosting an event at Utah Valley University, had amassed a net worth of $12 million at the time of his death, according to a website that covers financial and investment news. Kirk, who was the co-founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, was able to set up his family, wife Erika, and 2 children to be financially stable before his death, with an estimated net worth of $12 million, according to Value Walk. Turning Point USA is a non-profit organization Kirk founded in 2012, whose mission is to identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote the principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government, according to the website. A bunch of fucking hooey, if I ever heard any. Charlie launched Turning Point out of his parents' garage as an 18-year-old with no money, no name recognition, and only a dream. I guess it gives me inspiration. The company's website reads a homepage pop-up honoring its founder. As CEO of Turning Point USA, Kirk's salary increased from $27,000 in 2016 to more than $407,000 in 2021, according to Times Now. His personal holdings included 3 high-end homes, according to Times Now, a $4.75 million estate near Phoenix with a sweeping desert view, a nearby apartment, and a beachside condominium in Florida's Gulf Coast. Well, aren't they just living lavishly, the great Christian wonders, who should believe in charity and love and giving and helping all the poor and helping out people who are who have less than they do and are struggling? No, not this piece of crap. Not this white supremacist piece of junk. And here they are. Here's his wife after his death. Money grubbing for millions of dollars or more, funding contributions and kickbacks and free donations. Let's go to the Times Now world. Let's get a little more information on this. Charlie Kirk net worth, how the Trump ally and activist became a billionaire. At just 31, Charlie Kirk has amassed an estimated net worth of $12 billion. The chief executive and co-founder of Turning Point USA, Kirk has transformed a small campus-based project into one of the most prominent organizations in conservative politics. And along the way, he has also secured a lifestyle that includes a Spanish-style mansion. Oh wow, for the bigot. The bigot has a Spanish-style mansion, luxury travel, and multiple 7-figure properties, according to the report by news agency Associated Press. Wednesday, Kirk was shot dead while hosting a debate in Utah. A video post circulating on social media. Kirk can be seen getting struck while speaking and sitting beneath a tent in Utah Valley University courtyard, talking about gun violence after he's been gun-toting for years and years. Kirk was there as part of the American Comeback Tour, which is hosted by the TPUSA chapter at Utah Valley. American Comeback Tour. Gee, I thought America did come back. I thought we had the great American of the White House, criminal propagandist sociopath Donald Trump. Public records and an AP review of Turning Point's finances show how the organization, which has raised roughly $250 million since its inception. However, Turning Point's financial success is not always translated into political wins. In Arizona, where the group is headquartered, its slate of hard-right candidates struggled in statewide races, including Kerry Lake's failed 2022 bid for governor. Founded in 2012 in suburban Chicago by Kirk, that 18, and Tea Party activist William Montgomery, Turning Point struggled early to gain traction. It gained momentum after 2016 when Kirk became a close ally of U.S. President Donald Trump, and Turning Point embraced his presidential campaign. Contributions doubled, then tripled, eventually reaching $79.2 billion in 2022, according to public tax filings. As the organization's finances expanded, so did the trappings of his leadership. Turning Point sponsored a wedding reception for Kirk and his wife at a luxury hotel in Scottsdale in 2021, billing it as both a celebration and a fundraiser. Oh, gee, yes, let's just kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. Turning Point's financial structure has also drawn scrutiny. An AP investigation found that at least $15.2 million had been directed to companies linked to leaders and associates. Some high-ranking employees collected salaries in the high 6 figures while also benefiting from payments to affiliated businesses. Oh, gosh. Grifting and cheating And business interests of conflict in MAGA? Shock me again. Kirk, for his part, has supplemented his income with earnings from his podcast, radio show, and speaking fees, though the group acknowledged those ventures were launched with help from the platform Turning Point provided. Oh, wonderful. The group's rising consultants has also raised questions. In one case, Turning Point paid $2.4 million to Rally Forge, a firm that employed teenagers to spread false information about the coronavirus and election fraud during the 2020 presidential campaign, according to the Washington Post. Yes, he was right with this. All he did was spread lies and vitriol and stupidity and propaganda. Through it all, Kirk has built himself into a brand as much as an organizer, a familiar face on cable television, a fixture in conservative media. Yeah, Fox News, thanks a lot, you Fa News bastards. And now a wealthy figure whose lifestyle mirrors the big money donors who help underwrite his rise. A spokesman for Turning Point, Andrew Colvette, has defended the organization's spending and salaries, insisting that its leaders are good stewards of donor money. Yes, like all you good mangas are, aren't you? Yes, tending to the country's wonderful heritage while you grift and steal and make yourselves rich. He said that Kirk and others are underpaid for their talents. Oh, bullshit. You guys have millions. This is so ridiculous. Kirk and others are underpaid for their talents. Yes, overblowing and overhyping everything that you are and everything that you think you believe in. And argue that the group's critics have failed to offer compelling alternatives for improving Republican turnout operations. How about you shut the fucking propaganda shit off and actually run a party full of human beings that actually espouses actual human principles and causes. This is unbelievable to sit here and watch these people get richer and richer and richer while so many Americans are suffering. It's getting worse and worse and worse under Donald Trump and all the rest of these motherfuckers. And I'm one of those people, and I know it firsthand. These numbers just infuriate the hell out of me. All this money could help people in so many different ways be wasted, and now they're just raising more because all of these jackasses don't have a single fucking clue what life's all about, what priorities are, only give a shit about the one orange Jesus in the White House and all the shitheads around him. And they all back it up like a bunch of mega zombies, the drooling bastards they are. And we need to turn this around, and we need to eliminate these people from any kind of social standing whatsoever. So they back living under the rocks they came out of and never let them ever see the light of day anymore. My name is Scott Schneider. I'm fed up in Minnesota.